The music for the Super Mario franchise and the Legend of Zelda franchise is loved by many. If I were to ask you to sing the Super Mario theme right now, you could do it by memory, I bet if I asked you. This isn't just by coincidence. This music is made perfectly crafted to be memorized by people like us. And today I'm here to give you 3 reasons why. The first thing I want to talk about is weak beat versus strong beat. In Western music, we usually base our music around like 4 main beats, with 1 and 3 being the strong beat and 2 and 4 being the weak beats. Even outside of that, those beats are considered down beats, and then we still have beats in between those called up beats, which are even weaker than 2 and 4. The Super Mario Bros. Theme, even though it's a relatively simple melody, it accents these weak beats to create more interest and depth to what's going on. It gives our ear more to latch onto because we're not really used to it, if you know what I'm saying. Now you might be wondering, where did Koji Kondo come up with this, but a lot of the music that he used for the Super Mario franchise is based around Latin music. In Latin music, there's a lot of syncopation, a lot of accents off of weak beats that normally we aren't used to here in Western music. You can also notice this concept in a lot of popular music today. This is what allows us to keep melodies relatively simple, but creates enough interest just so it can stick and be catchy enough in your head. The name for this concept is called syncopation. Another very important technique that Koji Kondo uses is called Modal Mixture. Before I talk about this concept, I just want to talk about keys. In Western music, we tend to base our music off the major scale, and we have 12 of those. Outside of the major scale, we have 7 modes to that scale. So that lets us make one scale have different sounds when we just change the root or the first note of the scale. So for example, the C major scale is the same as A minor. If you listen to the first couple bars of Zelda's Lullaby, it's not exactly completely in the key of C major. That's because that D on top of C chord is taken from C Lydian. C Lydian is the 4th mode of G major. If you want to think about it in a different way, it's also the C major scale with just a raised 4th. If you were to list the 7 different modes in the order of from brightness to darkness, Lydian will stand on top even above major. So when you take from Lydian and you add it in a major context, it just adds more brightness to the overall, piece that you're trying to convey. For me, Lydian sounds very childlike and playful. This is why I think this suits Zelda's Lullaby so well, especially considering we're seeing Zelda from the perspective of Link. It conveys a sense of childlike innocence that the major scale might not do as good of a job as conveying. You can also find this example in Mario with something I call the victory cadence. You use the flat 6, the flat 7, and then you get to the 1. This flat 6 and this flat 7 chord is taken from C minor. So it's kind of like you're twisting and you're mixing the dark with the happy. Instead of normally landing on a minor chord, when you get to the end, you land on a major chord. So, we have this dark, story, this dark path that you're on right now. And then you're kind of like playing for like, is he going to win? Is he going to make it? And then when you get to this lovely major sound, it's kind of reconfirmation. It's kind of reconfirmation that you win at the end of the day. You can find this cadence all across the video game music, including Final Fantasy and other RPGs. Last thing I want to talk about is more soundtrack based and how everything connects with each other. You remember how I said at the beginning of the video that you probably have the Super Mario theme memorized? This is kind of links up with that point right here. And what I'm about to talk about is motifs. Melody is the most important thing for a song. If you don't have a melody, you don't have a song. So if you made a really great melody, it'd be a waste to kind of not use it again. That's why Koji Kondo uses a lot of different fragments of the melodies and puts them in different places of the songs and different songs of the overall soundtrack. These fragments are called motifs. I'm sure you've played The Legend of Zelda and heard one part of one song in a different one, and vice versa. So you can also notice some motif variation between different songs. So the first couple bars of Pona's song is the same as the first couple bars of Song of Healing. It's just reversed. Using different motifs throughout different songs overall just help to connect the experience better for you as the listener and as the player. As you listen to one song, you can relate that song to a different moment of the game when you heard this motif first being played. So if I were to give an example, you know how when you first listen to an anime opening for an anime and you keep listening to it, and then when you finally get to the final boss the main character has to beat, and then when the main character is actually like about to win, they start playing the anime opening and you start to get even more hyped up normally than you would be. This is kind of how this works, in using motifs throughout the different songs, and overall just connects with you for a better experience. And it helps to give the game a core sound too. Even if it isn't the specific Mario theme, you know what a Mario song sounds like, what a Mario type song sounds like. These three techniques aren't the only cool things Koji Kondo does in his music. He does a lot of intricate things secretly, but if you want to learn about some Eastern cultural concepts that he uses in Majora's Mask, click on the video above. Thanks for watching and comment down below.